I started the flight just before 12 o'clock. I'm taking off towards north-northeast direction. First thing I did was move towards east faces to be able to use the thermic activity. Sunshine's been there all morning, so this side should work. There was plenty of pilots in the air. I was searching for some lift. Down low it was really shattered and light, and there was too much traffic and I couldn't do decent climb there. Even in this area there was quite a few pilots interfering by turning, so I made sure I avoid everybody, so my climbing here was pretty messy. Once I reached high enough in my mind, I went to the next transition, as this ranges here works better. This is kind of really nice triggered. There's multiple sources of valley winds that meets up on the peak and usually tends to be really good trigger. Worked again really well on this day. 2400 in my mind was quite enough to go forward. I saw some pilots ahead on this ridgeline climbing. The ridgeline in front is also a convergence zone, as the winds come from both sides. Sun's been heating it from the east all morning long, so it works really nice just going straight above it. And the goal was to go to the highest peak right there to get the next climb right here. Just topped out a little bit more to 2500 and moved on forward. So far so good. The line was really nice. I mean, no surprises there. This ridgeline will keep you up really nicely on a good day, and this was exceptionally good day. After this peak is the same story. You have multiple valley flows reaching the tops of this, and it just keeps you up. It's a bubbly line. There's plenty of air moving up, and it's pretty steep mountain ranges. Gotta climb here. Here you can see that I have some north-northwest component in the thermal, and that's because of the valley flow through here starting to work a bit more as the day progresses. Again, I thought about 2.6 is enough to make the jump and to be high enough. I saw some pilots down low struggling on these ridges here, so I really didn't want to be low, so made sure I get an extra height to move forward. Didn't really work, so I decided to move even more forward, see what I get on the way. Now here, my next transition would be towards the westerly direction here to this area, and as this gets lower hills and there's this valley flow coming in from Chambéry, didn't want to really risk getting low here and scratch, so I thought I'll stick around here, see if I can climb. Took it all the way up to about 2450 meters and pushed towards west to extend my westerly most point of the flight. I had quite a decent line into the wind, really smooth glide back, semi-downwind. You can see how the glide ratio changes. So far the flight was going as planned, nothing surprising. The ridges work exactly as I thought they would. I stopped here, didn't really need to, but the plan of the day was to stay high and make sure I stay in the air as long as I can. So I took extra climbs where not necessarily I needed them. And then I got a really nice climb right on the edge here. Made sure I climb out. Again, probably longer than I would need to go forward, as this mountain range also works nicely with dynamic lift that comes in here and kind of moves up. Sun's been coming around both sides of the mountains in sunshine, thermic activity from both sides. You can see that there's a bit of a westerly component down low that is turning towards the northwest direction slowly as I climb higher. This was really a gnarly thermal, but I was really having fun. It was a good day for flying. I was enjoying my time. Come on buddy, let's play. Allez, let's play. Allez, let's go. What a nice thermal. Come on, buddy! Allez, put this fucking there. You're not little thing, huh? Come on, bring it on. Let's play. Allez. Oh, this is so much fun. Woohoo! Come on, I get it. Yep. Let's play, buddy. What a nice one! Come on! Yep! I'll feel ya! Hoppa! Pronto? No, not yet! Come on, let's go! Yep! Hoppa! There we go! Oh, what a hoppa! Really a strong one at, what is it, 2? Whoa! Day has changed! Woo! That was a nice workout right there! Almost. Woo! Active piloting is much needed exercise. High above the ground. Whee! Woo! Oh, my abdomen. Woo! So much great shit. Okie buddy. Go to Annecy. And from here on, with this altitude, it should be quite easy to connect to the next mountain ranges to go towards Annecy. My glide was amazing, so I thought, alright, that should be enough, and let's head forward. I've been here down low before. I've landed here a few times. It can be pretty windy and tricky here as the valley flow from the lake comes in and becomes stronger, so you have sort of a north headwind, and that is going parallel to the mountains here. And as you do the next crossing here, you get into the pretty nasty lee side and it just washes you down. This is the reason why I decided to stay here and milk this kind of light lift that wasn't really strong. Not super efficiently, but every 100 meters really helps. And as I got over, sure enough, it was getting a bit more tricky and the wind was coming from the lake. Drifted with this sort of few turns over the flat area there to move forward. Using semi-dynamic lift here plus some bubbly air to move forward till the next good trigger. And I knew that the mountain gets a bit more steep as you go forward towards Annecy, and I saw some guys climbing there, and then one person left right before me, so I thought, okay, so I'll see what they do, maybe they make it, so I can try to take that convergence line that this ridge here triggers left and right. The wind is coming a little bit from both sides, mostly from the northwest side. I made sure that I use that to go forward into the lake, sort of, as I'm planning to connect somewhere there. So pushing into wind up high, as I knew that the valley flow will follow the lake and kind of come in here. Didn't want to fight that as I got lower. I had a really nice glide with not much sink. And here was a lot of traffic, so I made sure I just get as high as fast as I can to get away from all the traffic. Milked a little bit more there, 2,600. Beautiful climb, beautiful place. Line was super nice here, super easy glide. There's a lot of pilots in the air to observe the air to see if my line is better comparing to theirs. Topped out just a little bit, 2,400, more than enough to connect to the next ridge here. Again, line was good, so I didn't experiment much. The advantage of having other pilots in the air shows you clearly what the air around you does. As I arrived here, it got a bit more windy, so of course I got a bit more sink, but the wind is coming over this hill here. So I just made sure I stay on the top of the ridge to push out towards north, which worked beautifully. I was having fun, enjoying the time here. The views were beautiful, thermals were nice today. Got a really nice climb, took it up and start heading towards the next goal. 2,600 was enough in my mind, but then on the way I got another climb. I was like, yes, sure, why not? Let's take another 200 meters to top it out. $2,800 to $2,600 seemed to be the best glide. It was clear to go to this area. The winds come from both sides. There's a terrain change right in the middle of it. It just has to work. Sun's there, there's no clouds, winds coming from both sides, down low and up high. It was working really nice. Again, a little bit of traffic, had to share the air, but 3,100, highest I've been today. Super beautiful day, high cloud base. The day's working amazing. And here, I did think of a few ways how to do this. I thought maybe go connect here, as it's in direct line, it's a bit more close and it's more downwind. I decided to experiment because this little hill here is kind of a middle. It should be good enough triggers. There's valley flows coming in, hitting it there, right? So there's triggers around it. It has terrain change. The thermal should be triggering right above here. As I move even more forward, all these fingers will trigger. I decided, let's experiment. Let's see if I can make the line here and connect with the mountain range. And here I achieved most of my plans, slowed down quite a bit, moved slowly forward to see how far northeast I can get. The dominant wind was coming from the sort of west-northwest from this direction, and I knew that once I turned back, my glides won't be as nice and I'm gonna be facing some headwind. So I didn't want to go too far back. I didn't want to lose too much altitude so I don't have problems coming back. And sure enough, that was the case. As I'm moving backwards, I'm losing a lot more height and getting lower and lower near the mountains. Here I was just hugging the terrain, using the same dynamic lift, seeing how long it holds me, and once I found decent enough climb, I took a few turns just to top it out and keep it just right above the terrain, so I have the best chance of getting the next climb. The whole flight wasn't really going fast, it was just enjoying the views, enjoying the climbs, taking every little bit. As I arrived here in the end of it, I made sure I climb a bit higher just to have a nice transition and arrive high on the next place. Got a really beautiful climb as I just arrived. And made it all the way back. Made it back sooner than I expected. I did have another 2-3 hours in the air to still fly. But the goal was to stick with the plan, do a nice out and return, and get back to the car in time to drive back home. Flew back to the landing, which was just down there where my van was parked.